Hi, you guys. Welcome to your November 2019 Pick a Card Tarot Card reading. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm super happy. It's Scorpio season. My moon in Scorpio is super loving this. Mercury retrograde and all. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. FYI, all the cards that I'm going to be using will be listed in order of appearance in the description box down below in case you want to purchase them for yourself. You can find the names there. And that's it. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Thanks. Okay, you guys, here are your 4 piles. We have a piece of agate on top, okay, just different colors. We have like a beautiful amber, orange, dark yellow color. We have a magenta, a dark teal, and like an aubergine, purple violet color over here. Take a moment, see which color really resonates with you the most. Pause the video if you need to kind of take a moment, but let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, pile number 1, for those of you who selected this sort of amber, dark orange color, let's go ahead and take a look first at this little kind of message rock. Okay, dream. This is going to be an interesting month for you because on one hand, there's going to be opportunity for you to do the actual dreaming, but also an opportunity for you to actualize past dreams. So I think it's because it is Scorpio season, it is somewhat transitory, right? Where we make our way from one phase into the next, we shed the skin, that whole deal. And it's a time when we actually do reap rewards, right? There's financial reward, there's a career and romantic reward that comes to fruition that carries us over into a whole new kind of realm of existence or perception or kind of just a whole new mindset. Okay, there might be big changes happening in your life as well that are, they're starting to happen, starting to come to fruition. So that's very exciting. Let's go ahead and get started with the first card, which has to do with the 6th chakra, which is, we know, the third chakra, or excuse me, the third eye chakra. And connected with the dream energy, it gives me the essence of the all-knowing, right? The all-knowing. It's the part of you that knows your dreams are going to happen. It's the part of you that knows that things are going to work out. It's a part of you that knows that if something didn't work out, then something better must be in store for you. There's unavoidable faith and trust in higher powers, right? Archangel Metatron, which we know Metatron is like one of the most important archangels, but also in terms of the sacred geometry as well, one of the most sacred shapes as the construction of the universe. So we have this faith that creation is what it is, and faith that you are still being created, right? So, I mean, this is high level stuff already right out of the gate, and it's to be expected with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and eclipses. We're now officially building up to eclipse season, right? Libra season was a little bit of a valley between Cancer season and Capricorn season, and now we make our way into Scorpio, and we're starting to feel things building up, all right? So trust and faith are very important at this time. And your next card is actually hope. So, wow. Can we just for a second feel like the stars are shining in your favor? That your path is very much illuminated. I don't see darkness here in any way, shape, or form. I don't see cloudiness. I don't see confusion unless some of the other tarot cards come out and suggest otherwise. But at this particular moment in time, it's a clear path, and it has nothing to do with whether things work out or not, right? It has nothing to do with outcomes, has nothing to do with the results. It has everything to do with the state of mind and the state of knowing. So you are on some kind of a trek, right? Some kind of a major journey, and the hope carries you through because it fuels your knowingness, which is the best way to utilize hope as a tool, right? I talk about this all the time, right? Hope can fuel fear, and it can also fuel faith. And in this particular instance, I see hope fueling your faith, which makes your faith even that much stronger. So there's a clear path ahead for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and see what the tarot cards say. Wow. Wow. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Move my little coins here. At this particular junction, there is no wrong path. Let's just say that. I don't know that you're necessarily being faced with major options other than the option of, well, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want my life to be? The Magician is the alchemical power, or the power of like making anything happen, right? The power of shifting energy in your favor. And the Three of Wands is all about prosperity. And it tells me that, like I said, your dreams are coming true. It's that changeover between actualizing past dreams and realizing new ones. So the Magician is the power of manifestation on both sides of it. It's the creation aspect and the realization aspect of it. So boom, there it is. You're being carried forward really fast. Like, I don't know where it is you're trying to go or what you're trying to do, but there is some major process in motion right now. And you are most definitely going to reap the rewards of that process. There's a lot of reasons for you to be really excited right now, in spite of whatever Mercury retrograde may bring, right? Because it can bring some financial setbacks. It's not just that it's Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, right? Because that does have a lot to do with like finances, a lot, right? Scorpio is a sign of money. It also has a lot to do with, you know, your soul evolution and things coming up to surface. And there can be a lot of triggers during this time, especially in your relationships. And, you know, it's a matter of really seeing past all of that and just kind of making your way through it. What I'm seeing from these cards is actual flawlessness, the way you handle yourself during this season. I see you walking forward with elegance and grace and dignity, and not getting lost in the pettiness that the potential of a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio can bring out. So you guys are really sitting kind of at the top of the barrel here, which is very exciting. You do have a lot of work to do, though. It's not all easy peasy. This is probably going to be a time when you really do want to just put your head down, go to work, figure things out, strategize, work on the finances especially, right? Reevaluate your financial goals and how to achieve non-financial goals with money, right? And yet I think the universe is carrying you to that outcome faster than ever before. You're speeding up, is what I'm sensing. Energy is speeding up. And again, I think you know that. I don't think this is a surprise. You're feeling those ships coming in. Like, you can feel the energy of those blessings coming to fruition really, really fast. Wow. New moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. I don't know that I am going to have a better reading this month, to be honest. So good for you guys. Luck is on your side. Abundance is on your side. Sagittarius is naturally ruled by Jupiter. So when we think of all of the Jupiterian elements, okay, it is travel, it is higher level education, it is realization, it is adventure, it is just kind of an overall sense of joy of life. And when you feel that joy of life, you tend to attract more joyful things into your life. So that hope can go to fuel your luck. It can go to fuel your good fortune and to realize these beautiful dreams of yours. Libra, I balanced. Okay, we just went through Libra season, and that's great. I don't know how Libra season was for you, but you're coming out of it with, I think, a sense of calm. Because maybe we went into Libra season with a lot of urgency. We went into, end of September, early October with like, I got to do it. I got to make it happen. I have to do this. I have to do that. And then it started simmering down. And when the energy simmers down, that's usually when the gifts start coming in. So that's why you're starting to realize these things now. Okay, Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide. Okay, you guys, I don't care how big or small your dreams are. At this point, some of you could be just hoping to make your rent. For others of you, you could be hoping to, buy that gigantic mansion in the, some really nice neighborhood of your community, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Somehow, And I think there's an element of magic because we have the magician and almost like that miracle nature, like miracles really can happen for you at this time because you have the Archangel Metatron and you have the magician and you have your own power and you are meeting the universe halfway, right? You're not just lazing about, you're actually doing something about realizing your dreams. And when people take on that responsibility, they become realized faster. So you are, in essence, creating your own abundance, okay? And the universe is like, oh, here's someone who is putting in the work. Here is someone who really cares. Here is someone who is being courageous, who's taking chances, who's doing X, Y, and Z. I'll meet them there. Yeah, absolutely. The thing I love about the buffalo, and growing up, I grew up actually in northern Utah, and we made a lot of trips to like the Yellowstone area, Grand Tetons, because it's very close by. And I always loved when I would see like the herd of buffalo. There's something very ancient about that particular species. A lot of species, of course, but the buffalo has this essence of wisdom. It's very slow, honorable. Again, that word dignity is coming to mind. And it has a sense of majesty, right? It has this bigness of spirit. I don't know how else to describe it. But it kind of commands respect just by being what it is, right? Kind of like a beautiful stallion or, a gigantic moose or something, it just is what it is, and it is to be respected. And so the abundance and the creation energy of the universe, but also your own creation energy as well, it must be respected at this time and used wisely, because at this time you can take good luck and create bad luck for yourself. Why am I saying that? Just as a little bit of a warning for people who are feeling a little bit down on their life right now. If you play the pity party game and you play the poor me, how sucky my life is kind of game with yourself, luck is merely fortune, and fortune can come in all shapes and sizes and vibrations. It can come in really amazing blessings, and it can also come in really kind of some kind of bad karma. So you have to pay very, very, very close attention to the thoughts you are projecting out and to the emotions that you give credence to. If you start feeling like I'm not worthy, well then guess what? All this potential good energy can come to you in the forms of like, oh, well, you're not worthy, and to confirm that. It is tricky, okay? It's a very tricky situation. So just be aware that you tap into the abundance and goodness and high vibration and compassion and gratitude rather than the other side of that spectrum, so that you can attract good luck, okay? So you can attract good abundance, all right? Because abundance, again, all shapes and sizes. There's polarity to everything, which is why Libra came out in the very center, right? I balance. There's two sides to every scale. So be sure that you are putting weight in the helpful and beneficial side of the scale, all right? But other than that, it looks like an amazing month for you guys. I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much. Take care. Okay, for those of you who picked the second pile or the magenta pile, let's go ahead and take a look at this little message stone first to see what it says. Okay, it says hope, which is excellent because this is a season where our skins shed, right? It is a season of change, transformation, metamorphosis, all these kind of buzzwords that we hear over and over and over, which we all know that change is constant and happens almost every single day. But there is something extraordinarily special about Scorpio season, okay, where we actually feel different. We have that option to really feel different. We can feel more in our power than we ever really have in the past or in the months building up to Scorpio season. It's kind of like the snake energy, right? When a snake is about to shed its skin, even its eyes become, covered over with the dead skin, and it has a hard time seeing. So as we're building up to this Scorpio energy in Virgo season, Libra season, We can feel a little disoriented sometimes, but this is the time when we actually release ourselves from any lack of clarity and we start establishing a very clear and very direct new path. And we can kind of burst out of Scorpio season with this emphasis on high energy, which is like taking us into Sagittarius season, right? It's like once the snake sprouts wings, it can then fly and see the world from a whole new perspective, which is why Sagittarius season is all about, adventure and higher level learning and all this kinds of wonderful things. So this hope is truly what's carrying you to the finish line and a very positive message for you to begin. So let's go ahead and start with the cards. Okay. Ooh, the thinking man. And here I was just talking about Sagittarius season, even though I know it's Scorpio season now. But I think that that's kind of the essence. For some reason, the Sagittarius energy is actually sort of preempting Scorpio season, right? So it's taking you to a much, much higher level, actually. There's a quality of analysis, high level mindset. It's very mercurial, very Uranian as well, kind of like that Aquarius, Gemini, Virgo essence, okay? And thinking a lot about your life, how your life affects others, how your choices affect your consequences, and how life eventually always kind of seems to work out in a certain kind of way. And the only thing that I can say is just to be careful that you're not overthinking things. There seems to be actually a contradiction between the thinking versus the hope, which is more of an emotional state. And there could be a little bit of a battle between the two sides of you. It's going to be beneficial for you to do meditations at this time to sort of like bring the mind and the emotions together in some level of cohesiveness, okay? And you can do that through meditation and actually through quieting both a little bit, right? To quiet the overabundance of thought that may be occurring at this time. Oh, well, here we go. The next card is actually balance. So you kind of have this triangular energy, this one kind of being at the pinnacle of the triangle, balancing out the two base points. So balance is, of course, a quality of adjustment. It's actually kind of connected with the Justice card in the tarot, where you have to, are you going to think through this or are you going to feel through this? Because if you think, right, it is Mercury retrograde after all, so our minds could be a little spinny and take us around in circles. And when we find ourselves going around in circles, we're going to need to calm those thoughts down a little bit, okay? I'm even having a hard time speaking with this particular spread because I'm already like, are words, are thoughts going to be converted into words or actions, or are they just going to stay thoughts? If they're just going to stay thoughts, it's, like, is it worth it? Is it beneficial? Those kinds of things. So try hard to do the meditations to find the balance. Hope is actually going to fuel really good things this month. I just saw that in the last reading or the last set of cards I did as well, where hope can be kind of the fuel of the growth of new dreams and the growth of abundance in your life. So if you're having to choose between one or the other, but this one seems to be outweighing, take time to actually start feeling hopeful and start feeling faithful and trustful of the energy around you. Because an overabundance here can kind of make the scales a little askew. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the tarot cards. Okay. Ace of Swords. Wow, a lot of individuals here. So we have Earth, Fire, Air. A lot of air actually on this side, on the side of the thinking man. Interesting how we are currently in Libra season, right? Well, actually, yeah, a couple more days. We're technically still in Libra season, but I know that Libra season, we kind of came into it with a bang. And there were all these things we wanted to do, all these things we wanted to say, we wanted to fix that, we wanted to fix this, and yada, 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 yada. And now as we make our way into Scorpio season, we are starting to see that wow, okay, well, we weren't as clear as we were before. Let's take a moment, let's take a beat, let's reset everything. And Scorpio season will give you the answers that you seek. It will provide the path, okay? It's the, I'm hearing something like in my heart, just not necessarily with the cards, but to pay attention more so to the heart space, which is going to have a much quieter voice. Thoughts are going to be a lot louder for you, okay? But it's the heart space that is going to have the answers. So when in doubt, put everything to rest. Like if you're at the office and you have some major decision to make, or you're at home or in a relationship and you have some kind of thing like, do I do this? Do I not do this? What I would recommend doing is like sleeping on it for a few days and waiting for the energy to just come into its own balance and let the path present itself. There's not a lot of doing here for you right now, pile number 2, okay? There's not a lot of doing. This is a lot of letting the universe do the work, because in Scorpio season, there's not a, like, we like to think Scorpio is all about power and control, but when Pluto comes to play, you don't really have that much control. What's happening is you're really playing his game. Okay, so you have to play by the rules, and if you let him lead, he will lead you to a fair outcome, something that is good. Okay, he's not a bad guy, right? He's just, he just doles out justice, and sometimes it can be really hard for us to look in that mirror sometimes. Now, you could be dealing with a fire sign or an earth sign or an air sign, sure. I really like all the people that are around you right now, so I think your counsel is really good. These can be actual human beings, or they can indicate your spirit guides, as I see the angel here as well. There's one that's going to speak a lot more to your passion, your quality of innovation, your heart space again, and then another one that's going to cater more to your practicality. If you're seeking counsel in any way, shape, or form, I would recommend reaching out to multiple people to get multiple perspectives, not to confuse you even more, but to just give you more ways of looking at something, okay? I see the Queen of Swords often as being someone who likes to collect a lot of evidence, like a judge, right? Like, show me the evidence. Show me the evidence so I can make a decision that is good and the best decision that I can make. And these people, I think, will have opinions that are very, very worthwhile, and it will be very helpful to you. But again, don't forget to listen to your heart. Like, what is it that you're hoping the outcome is going to be here? What is it that you're hoping? How is this going to be a win-win for everybody involved? This might not make sense to you right now, by the way. I'm just actually like, this probably is an energy that's occurring right now, but probably closer as Jupiter approaches Capricorn, closer and closer. And as Mercury comes out of retrograde and moves back direct again, I think that's kind of when a lot of these cards are really going to come out to play. Okay. Now, the Moonology card, you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. Is this a question of deserving something? Are you overthinking, overanalyzing because you are afraid in some way that you don't deserve it? Are you afraid that it's not going to work? Are you afraid that people don't want what you have to offer? Virgo can be a very restricted energy, really, really always holding itself back, and can have a hard time realizing its full potential because they're always self-critiquing. So make sure that when you are finding yourself in that hyper-analytical state of mind, that you release that hyper-analysis, okay? Because it's not beneficial for you at this time. These are people that are going to see you in a magical way. Okay, they're going to look at you and they're going to show you really amazing qualities about yourself that you maybe didn't really realize. Maybe you were hoping those were qualities of yours, but you never actually saw them in yourself. These people see those qualities, right? They see the nurturing part of you. They see the beautiful physical part of you. They see the ambitious part of you. Like they see it, okay? And maybe that's what these people's opinions really is about. Not so much about you doing something, but more so about who you are. Maybe this month really is going to act as a mirror for you. And wow, Scorpio season, if any season is a mirror, it's Scorpio season, right? Because when our soul goes into the underworld and has that communication with Pluto, you know, what is your justice, right? What is your karma? What do you deserve? What don't you deserve? And again, Pluto treats you fairly, but fair is fair, right? And some people don't like that. That's why Scorpio season can be really harsh sometimes. But if you have been a good person, if you have been moving forward, if you have been doing the shadow work, then you will see a lot of reward coming for you this month. Okay, so this really is about shedding the skin and getting to that place of like freedom, really, okay? Void of course moon. Now, void of course moon, I don't know how many people know what that is, but when a moon transits through an astrological sign, let's say it's transiting through Aries, okay, there comes a point in the last degrees of that sign when it doesn't aspect any other planets. All right, before it enters into Taurus, there's going to be like a couple of days or one day. Sometimes it's not even one day, but it's no planets are going to be aspected. So the moon is kind of just like, it's not being activated and it can be a little bit lost. And you may feel that. That's why the overabundant thought, because you're trying to think your way through a problem. You're trying to think your way through a solution. Like I said, your heart space, your hope and your faith really is where the magic is at. Overabundant thought is just going to spin you around in circles, and it's going to put you in that self-critique mode, which is totally not good for anybody. So it's going to be a really beneficial thing for you to just like really, really pay attention to what your mind is doing and let the clarity come to you, right? Because this is really, you know, the spirit guides, your helpers, your angels really giving you the clarity that you need. It's not so much that you created for yourself, okay? This clarity can come about a person. It can come about something going on at work. It can come about as how you see yourself. It can come about in a lot of different ways. But, you know, ultimately that clarity that you seek is coming. If you're feeling a little waverly, lack of direction, it's short term, it's really temporary, so there's no need for you to be stressed out. Okay, seahorse spirit, watch and wait. Well, you know, these energies are pretty clear, okay? My intuition is pretty clear that this is a good time to just let the skin fall. That's it. That's all you got to do. And I know I was talking about the Sagittarius energy, and maybe there's a kind of a tendency for you to want to skip the Scorpio energy and just make your way into Sagittarius, the freedom, the whole thing. But you are going to have to wait for that skin to shed. And again, that's Pluto's game. You have to just wait. And during that waiting period, I really think there are going to be people around you that are so helpful and so beautiful and so wonderful, and they love you so much and they care about you so much. And it's not that you don't want help from them. It's not like I see you rejecting their help or anything. It's just that sometimes the good things about ourselves can be a real tough pill to swallow. Like to hear that you are a beautiful person, to hear that you are very talented, to hear that you are, you know, valuable in a certain kind of way. Weirdly, that can be hard. And I think that's a big part of what this Saturn and Pluto conjunction in January is about, is like where we all just kind of stop disrespecting ourselves, and we all just stop like feeling not good enough, because that's such a silly notion. It's such a ridiculous thing that this is even a part of our narrative that we feed ourselves on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? So this is going to be a time when that kind of is really starting to be put to bed. So enjoy it. Enjoy the compliments you receive. Enjoy the accolades that you receive. There's no need to overanalyze anything. Like I said, tap into the heart space. That's where the answers really are for you this month, okay? Right? The pink, the magenta, the heart space. All right, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing Scorpio season, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Okay, pile number 3. You guys picked this beautiful dark teal color, which is one of my favorite colors, the color of my couch and my dining room chairs. I love it. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at your message stone, which is a stone of success. Excellent. Well, I mean, Scorpio is known to really push us to our limits. And when we get pushed to our limits, we do tend to succeed. And I know that that can sometimes come in disguise as, you know, something maybe frustrating that happens, but we all know that sometimes when life pushes us, it's really for our success in the long run. Okay, so I think what you guys are doing is actually playing a long game, which is very exciting. And this is kind of the beginning of a long game. Probably within the next few months, you're going to start seeing things come to fruition at kind of a rapid rate. Although this season might not be the time for that to come out. All right, the first card to come through is attachment. Okay, so attachment of what? This is what you're facing. Right? This is what you're facing within yourself. The attachments that you've created, the attachments that you struggle letting go with people, with circumstances, with mindsets, with ways of being. And I think there is a quality of frustration that may come through because I know that you are elevating, you're ascending, you're doing all the spiritual work, you're letting things go, you're making peace, you're forgiving. And when you do that, the attachments become so clear. And they can still be hard to let go. I think that phrase of just let it go, even though that's really what we need to do, it's such a harsh way of saying something that's incredibly difficult to do, right? Just let it go. But I think you are coming to grips with how to do that, and letting go of attachment may become easier after this season, or as we make our way through this season. And I think that's going to come through irritability, like just being annoyed with people, boredom, getting bored with thinking the same thing over and over, and just an overall and very general lack of interest in the thing, right? And so the moving on is an inevitability here, but not before you come face to face with what the attachments really are, and the deeper level of those attachments, so that you can then officially cut the cord, right? Success. So attachment's not bad when you have success attached to attachment, okay? It's not bad because the attachment was a success. Your realization of the attachment is becoming a success for you in your life, whether you see it right now or not. Okay, we have the crown chakra, right? Number 7, the 7th chakra, which is the highest vibration chakra that we have. It is kind of our gateway to everything and anything beyond this veil, beyond this world, beyond this physicality. Again, it's the ascension that you're going through that's happening as we speak. And that's what Scorpio season is all about, the metamorphosis. And you can feel it. I don't think that it's a secret here. And I don't think I'm necessarily highlighting anything you don't already know. Like, no, you're being pushed, you're being guided. And while I'm not seeing, we'll see what the tarot cards have to say in just a second, but I'm not seeing like anything petty or anything of the world really dragging you down. You have this way about you that is etheric and somewhat mysterious, and yet on the inside you know that there's like a storm inside. But the storm, right, as we know, creates, you know how it feels after like a thunder and lightning storm and all the rain, you know, the air is, I think it has a lot to do with negative ions, right? I'm not a huge science person in this regard, but there's a lot of, you know, shift in the chemistry of the air itself. And so within you, there is a great shift in the energy within you, which is a beautiful place to be. It can just feel like you're in the middle of a storm sometimes. Okay? All right, let's see what comes through for you guys. Oh, wow. All right. 5 of Swords is the attachment. Page of Swords is the breaking free. And I have a feeling the Knight of Swords is probably someone that you're dealing with or must deal with. You may or may not know who this person is at this time, but the Knight of Swords is someone who most likely is mirroring a past self back to you, because sometimes when an attachment occurs, whether romantically or how we feel about money or issues with our parents or whatever, even, drugs and alcohol or whatever, this is how we used to be toward that attachment, right? Like desperately trying to hang on to something, desperately trying to keep something intact, not wanting change, and kind of doing anything in our power to make sure that a certain structure maintained itself. And of course, with the crown chakra energy, that is, the change is inevitable at this point. And I think you want the change because no one really likes to be in this hectic or frantic energy. Now, the Knight of Swords is not bad, by the way, if you're dealing with someone who is, maybe a Gemini. I often see this actually as being very Aries-like, even though technically it's a Gemini card. Someone who's very aggressive. It can also be Capricorn, can also be a Scorpio. Someone who just has those blinders on. Not a bad person, okay? They're just in your life at this particular moment in time to show you how far you've really come and to show you what this particular attachment means and what it doesn't mean. More likely, this attachment doesn't really mean a lot for you at this time, which means you can then release it, okay? And the Page of Swords this is more of a Gemini-like energy, actually, in my opinion. It's more light, it's more airy, it's more positive, it's free, it's hopeful, optimistic, all these wonderful things that we all want to be most of the time. None of us want to be frantic and frustrated and, desperate. We don't like those feelings, although they can become addictive, but we don't like them. We want to be free of these things. So here you are, I think, kind of on the outside of your attachment looking in, right? He's looking into it, seeing how things used to be and being like, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm here. I am so grateful, right? Because again, the attachment is in and of itself a success, okay? It might not feel like it, but it is, because it's helping you to grow, all right? And there was reasoning behind it. Earth is a very, very challenging place to be. Can you imagine being an etheric being or some being from a community of, of a sense of humanity and love and compassion and coming into Earth? That's a really, really hard thing to do. The kind of level of density that we are operating in on a consistent basis, it's really tough. And sometimes you have to give yourself credit for wow, I'm here. How amazing is that? And this is just a part of it. It's a part of the humanness, right? I think maybe some of you are having a battle between your humanness and your spiritualness, and realizing they don't really mesh very well. It's a really hard process to get your spirit and your body to really mesh, to get your emotions and your mind and your body and your spirit to mesh. You know what I mean? And that's where the crown chakra really comes in helpful, because it helps you to elevate above a lot of that kind of stuff. You seem to be elevated at this time. Let's just say that, right? You seem to be there or on your way there, all right? Having success on that journey. So you won't be where you are forever. It's all very transitory. And even the Knight of Coins, which I'm kind of seeing connected with the Page of Swords for some reason, no clue. I see you as kind of emerging, right? Moving into the future as you make your way into Sagittarius season and Capricorn season, which is going to be a big thing. It's a lot of stuff happening in the next couple of months, and we're feeling the build up now. And I have this sense that you are moving forward with a sense of honor and dignity, kind of heading into battle slowly, and, as you are guided, sort of heading into this battle of change, okay? But it's also kind of a bring it on energy, because you're over it, right? You're over it. Yep, exactly. North Node, step out of your comfort zone. Because unfortunately, our Five of Swords things, they do become comfortable at a certain point. And when they become comfortable and we're like, holy cow, I can't believe I'm okay with this. And then we kind of get fed up with ourselves. And that's when we start to really instigate change within ourselves. So it's a beautiful thing where you're at. It just may feel a little arduous or a little dreary, but it's the storm, right? The storm is happening. That's Scorpio season. It is the storm, and it is extraordinarily cleansing. Okay, Grand Cross, the provoker, which is an energy of being, again, poked and prodded and triggered and pushed. This Knight of Swords individual in your life is very much mirroring something back to you. Okay, Scorpio season is all about the mirror. And with Venus in there, you know, she's showing us some stuff big time. She's showing us not only how far we've come, but also what tasks are at hand right now. There can be tension, but it's internal tension. I don't see anything external going on here, which just tells me that it's just you against yourself at this point. You against yourself. Everything else in life is going to remain consistent. Everything in life is going to remain predictable and sturdy. Finances are great. Relationships will be as is, unless this Knight of Swords is your relationship. And then, you know, you're going to have to draw a line draw a line in the sand with the universe and say, you know what, universe? I don't accept this anymore. And then you start shifting your vibration and you start shifting your world and your reality. Again, sense of dignity, honor, and pride coming through. Step out of your comfort zone. Last but not least, the pig spirit. Use your mind wisely, which, wow, like with the crown chakra, and he's got wings like when pigs fly, right? There's something miraculous about what's about to happen in your spiritual realm. There's something that you didn't know you were capable of doing about to happen. And we know pigs are exceptionally intelligent. Scorpio season is a highly intelligent season as well. It's like the intelligent version of Mars, right? Mars with strategy, Mars with purpose. And when you kind of associate the Mars energy, because Mars is a co-ruler of Scorpio, right? Mars and Pluto. But Mars, as it rules Aries, is kind of clumsy. It's very, you know, haphazard. That's why this Knight of Swords, it's just like really kind of very emotional and can get heated very quickly. But Mars in Scorpio, having had a lot of experience, right? Aries through Libra, now it's at this part of the Zodiac where it now knows how to use the Mars energy in a more productive way, okay? And it has a sense of purpose. It's not disorganized. It's very, very strategic. And so when you have the Mars energy mixed with the use your mind wisely card, there are mountains that can be moved over the next few months. And I think you are about to move them, right? The attachments. You are moving mountains here. And you're starting to see what you're really capable of doing. And that's always a surprise when we come to that level. Like, what are we really capable of doing as human beings? And we see people doing remarkable things, like in terms of leadership and innovation and creation and helping the world and all of that. So, like, what's your level, right? What's your pinnacle? What are your mountains? And I think you are going to be moving them. Give yourself a good 3 months. And 2020 is going to be like major, major, major success. And it's because, like I said, it's the long game. And it's because of what's happening right now. So it's really beautiful. All right. I'm going to leave you guys with that. That was amazing. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an excellent month. And I'll see you soon. Thanks. Okay, pile number 4. You guys selected this. I know it kind of looks blue on the camera, but it's actually like a very deep aubergine purple, very violet blue kind of color. Really pretty. Let's go ahead and see what your stone says first. Okay, it's a stone of peace, it says. Peace. Wow. Peace at a time when it's very stormy, right? Scorpio season is often very stormy. And especially coupled with a Mercury retrograde, with Venus in there, there's a lot of real transformative energy going on right now. So this is actually a very real blessing. It's a very real blessing to be at peace at a time when many people won't be at peace. All right, so that's an excellent way to begin the reading. Let's go ahead and see what your cards have to say. A woman holding a heart, which, man, as much as we would like to talk about Scorpio season being all about power and money and change and all of this, there's a very real love component with Scorpio season, right? Very real. And I'm not just saying like, deep romantic love, but there is a connection with humanity that Scorpio has, and the level of caring. And one of the reasons why Scorpio season kind of helps us to, we try to tend to protect ourselves a lot during this time, and Scorpios in general tend to protect themselves, and they tend to, people perceive them as being very secretive, but really what it is the heart that cares so much, that tries not to care because it hurts so much how much they care. Does that, they care so much. And I think your heart is going to feel very big. Your heart is going to feel very full. It's going to be compassionate. It's going to be available for people. It's going to be, easy for people to see you. I don't know that you're going to be able to hide your caring at this time. I don't know that you're going to be able to hide your vulnerability. You're not going to be able to hide the things that trigger you. You're going to be a very transparent person this month, which is going to be beneficial, right? Sometimes it's the transparency that's the hardest part to really get through, but I see you getting through it, and I see you healing, and again, creating peace for yourself. So that's really beautiful. And we have fulfillment of wishes. Wow, look at that. Fulfillment of wishes. There's, just so much emotion. And so much, again, caring. I'm just reusing all the same words. I'm sorry, but I think that you are going to see within yourself a very real treasure that you might not have known existed within yourself, a real treasure that other people have known for a very long time, and now you are finally like stepping into this, like, oh, I do have this gift, I do have this talent, I do have this ability to do X, Y, and Z, and wow, like I can actually use it and I can fulfill my wishes. You may have some wishes coming true. For those of you who are looking for romantic relationships, it's possible that one comes in for you this month. For those of you who are looking for some financial stability, it's possible that you may step into an opportunity that will give you just that. And I think even though it can be a rocky time, we are going to, again, like I don't see you going through a rocky time. Let's see what the tarot cards have to say. No. 4 of coins. I don't. Fulfillment of wishes, and then we have the star card. Okay, well, these are very, very sturdy energies here. You are a very sturdy individual. I think you are very aware of your heart, though. Right? You're very aware of your generosity. You're very aware of what you have to give. And I think it's the awareness of those things that kind of flip the script on you a little bit. I think you're going to go through some pretty major surprises this month, but they're not groundbreaking, they're not earth-shattering, and they're certainly not bad. I think what it is, it's going to take you up a notch, and you're going to start living into some potential energy that you've never really stepped into before. This seems to be like a game-changing month for you. Like, wow, good for you. Like, there's going to be something that really starts kicking in, and it's going to snowball into 2020 and bring you a great deal of probably money, okay? It's going to probably bring you a much more stable relationship or a marriage of some kind. And you're just kicking it off right now. Like, you may have thought that 2019 was like a whole thing, but now it's really just beginning for you. And the King of Coins, to me, I mean, I think you have someone who is a rock for you. You have someone who can offer you grounding at a time when maybe you don't have so much grounding, all right? Because when we have so much water here, we have the waterfalls in this card, and then we have the big heart, which is, you know, I think a very, it's a very fluid, changing, mutable, flexible kind of energy. It's very creative, very feminine kind of energies I'm seeing, mixed with a nice mixture of masculinity here, which provides that kind of, it's the stability, it's the projection, it's the purpose, it's the reason behind things. Okay, so this could be a part of you, and there could be a beautiful balance of your masculine and feminine, or it could be an external individual, a husband, a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, father, coworker, whatever, who is providing that for you. And I think they see the beauty in you as you are starting to see the beauty within yourself. There's something simultaneous happening here. Death is an inevitability. It is Scorpio season after all. Death, the shedding of the skin, the snake becoming the eagle. And, you know, it's potent. It's very obvious that we're going through this, not only because Scorpio season, but also because Saturn conjunct Pluto and the eclipse is happening in Capricorn. And I feel that there is this sense of absolute liberation happening with you. And this is also a card of hopes and dreams coming to fruition, and a great deal of optimism and feeling like you found your place in the world. And I mean, this is all like very exciting stuff. Okay, it's all very exciting. Oh my gosh, you guys. See, bring love into the situation, a new moon in Aquarius. There is something with humanity. Right? And like I was saying, it's Scorpio, and I know that we have certain kind of, you know, buzzwords that we associate with that, but there is a quality of humanity. Some of the most avid humanitarians I've ever met are all Scorpio, and they tend to understand their place in humanity very well, which is why they can be some of the highest contributors in their communities, or some of the most important contributors in their communities. Very behind the scenes, though, very kind of secretive. They don't like to receive accolades for their giving and their accomplishments usually. And that's what I'm seeing with the Aquarius energy. Like it's a very pure love that you're stepping into. It's a very pure love of self. It's a very pure love of humanity. Even though you may be kind of looking out at the world and being like, oh my God, what is this world doing? What is happening? People are so awful and terrible. But again, it's the compassion that you found within yourself that you then can offer out to others as well. And I see any anger just sort of melting away, any frustration, any resentment, just really, just completely melting away. And you, like with the waterfall here and the water being poured down, it's almost kind of like a spiritual baptism, you know, kind of, you know, that quality of being purified. And, yeah, like when you go down to the underworld in Scorpio season, and then you come back up in Sagittarius season, it is kind of like a baptism, actually. You have this whole new essence, okay? It's a whole new essence. Fourth house, roots. Wow. Fourth house, the Four of Coins and the King of Coins, to me, all very well connected. So what I'm seeing here is a balance between the outward manifestation of your life, your goals, your paths, all of these things, and the inward manifestation of peace, right? There are going to be a lot of success points in your story coming up here in the next year because of the internal peace that you have. When we talk about fourth house roots, okay, a lot of people just kind of take the fourth house as being your home and family, where you grew up, where you came from. I always pull it back because that's what I do, because I have, because I just am what I am. I always pull it back to the bigger scale and where we came from, You know, some of you relate as star seeds. Okay, well, that's where you came from, and we can even pull it back to kind of the beginning of our creation and the beginning of the beginning of the beginning, where there is no concept of time and all of this, right? Outside of this whole physical world. And so when you connect who you really are, right, and you kind of say, okay, well, this is who I really am, a lot of things in the world become not so scary. The vulnerability becomes not so scary. It's the balance between the humanness and the spirituality. Did I say that already? Maybe I didn't say that. The balance between the physical and the spiritual coming together in harmony. But you had to realize who you were first. You know, you had to realize where you really came from first. It wasn't that you grew up in Kansas City and your parents got divorced when you were 12 and you then moved to Chicago and did X, Y, and Z. Like, that's not really who you are. I mean, those are things that have happened to you and have shaped your human psychology, but that's really, really, really not the true essence of self, right? So it's the merging of those two things. How beautiful. And then the last card is the hummingbird spirit, which is about, it says, be here now. Things are moving fast as the wings of a hummingbird, right? And yet you seem to be standing perfectly still. Peace. You seem to be standing perfectly still as you watch the world buzz around you, as you watch people, spazzing out, freaking out, having relationship problems, having money problems, having this, having that. And you may actually have issues, right? We're still human after all. There may still be issues that you need to contend with, but all in all, you seem to be unaffected. And that's kind of been my messaging all year, is 2019 really is about becoming untouchable. Becoming untouchable by the sort of mundane, sort of ridiculousness of humanity, right? Being bogged down by a bill or being bogged down by a negative individual, like eventually that kind of stuff just stops bothering you. And like I was saying, when you are internally at peace, somehow your life just kind of unfolds and brings you a peaceful life. It brings you the money that you need. It brings you the stable relationship that you desire. It brings you the harmonious family relationships that you crave. And it brings you a path, right? And so I don't necessarily see you doing a lot of work at this time. You're just sort of hovering and allowing the changes to take place as death promises that change will come. And it's kind of that nothing is really happening to you. It's just simply happening. And when you sort of have that ability to really detach from things, you then find yourself more free than you have ever been. Like I was saying in the beginning, though, there is an essence of vulnerability with the woman holding the heart. There is a rawness to everything, but it can be very, disorienting sometimes when you do come in contact with who you really are and what this awareness really is and how you can use this awareness in your favor. So it can be like a whole big thing, but ultimately I see you living very much in the moment. I see you allowing blessings to come. I see you utilizing your King of Coins, whether your internal King of Coins or your external King of Coins, to provide the stability and the rock and the place to really come home to, all right, as you go out and explore and you let your heart expand. There's always a safe place for you. Okay, that was kind of that reading evolved in a very interesting way. Wasn't expecting that. Hopefully it made sense for you. I wish you guys absolutely nothing but the best. Thank you so much for everything. Have an excellent Scorpio season, and I will see you next month. Take care.